enough negativity. Let's talk about what we loved about 2016, because there were some good parts. I guess I'll go ahead and start. We're going to start by talking about what music we loved this year. And one of my favorites was the album Cardinal by Pinegrove. This is a band that I just saw on a bill because they were playing with a band that I liked. I had never really heard of them. Turns out they're pretty fucking good. It's kind of like Southern rock influenced emo. It's got this whole like drunk end of the night at a bar sing-along vibe to it, and I just really dig it. I don't know if anybody else listened to it, but it was one of my favorites this year.
Yes, I listened to that. That was really good. I really enjoyed that.
I think I like it for the most part. I mean, it doesn't immediately stand out, but I feel like over a few listens, it might grow on me. I feel like usually I get more into like an artist if I kind of like read up, see what they're kind of about. But a few songs you can't really get a good feel, but I definitely more positive and negative reaction to it.
This band is very you.
So some other music that I liked this year, I really liked the new Weezer album, their White album. I feel like Weezer's finally making good Weezer music again instead of making boring shitty pop music. Thumbs up. It's nominated for a Grammy. I think it should win. It was a fun record.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna stop saying it, but like I listened to the stuff that was on our playlist, and I think I really liked what I heard. I thought those were very fun, a little different for Weezer, so it was a little bit out of their wheelhouse. But then, I flipped through a few tracks again, and I was kind of like, well, what's a single off this one? This was
Thank God for Girls.
Yeah, something like that. I was like, well, I guess Weezer's doing that Weezer thing again. So.
And so then the other big album that I loved this year is kind of like the album to love this year. I was all about Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper. Tons of fun. We've talked about Chance on the show before. This album was just a lot of fun in a kind of dark, depressing year. I really needed songs like No Problem and Blessings and All We Got just to like lighten the mood a little bit. It was fun.
Yeah, I will say I listened to that album in its entirety the other day for the first time, and I've actually liked Chance from the bit I've heard of him. I hadn't listened to him a lot. I will say when we did that episode that we talk about No Problem, I hated that fucking song. I even think I said that on there. I didn't like it, but I actually really like the shit out of it now. When I was going through our playlist, I was dancing around my apartment, and whenever I go to the one part where it was like blah blah blah, I'd be actually making arm motion when it came up. I'd be like blah blah blah. So yeah. It's good.
Yeah, I mean, of course, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I also really like. I said I hated No Problem, but I'm like, yeah, I guess it's all right. Yeah, fuck. I mean, there's so little to it. You just I just feel like you just kind of get into it because it's literally the same thing, back to back to back to back. So it's you almost kind of just get into almost this hypnotic rhythm, and you're like, all right, okay, I guess we're doing it. Got some fun, those sort of choral vocals in the back that kind of keep me, give me a little bit of depth that keeps me interested. I feel like this will be a good meme song in a few years, No Problem.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be a good one that'll probably get used in some video or, it'll probably be an SNL thing or some shit like that. It'll come back eventually.
Sean, what music did you like this year?
Oh, man, there was a ton of good stuff. Mostly, I felt like on some of the stuff I put down, it was songs and albums. Probably my favorite song towards the end this year was Kurt Vile, Pretty Pimpin'. Just a good, Americana-y song. Because I know we talked about Bob Dylan on here, so there's a good, follow-up. Just guitars and drum machines and kind of going to town.
If you haven't picked it up yet, there's a playlist of all of these songs that we're talking about in the show notes that you can listen to on Spotify. I listened to Pretty Pimpin' on my way to work when we were preparing for this show, and I immediately thought, oh my God, this song is so Sean Evans. It just speaks of you to me. It feels the way hanging out with you feels. And I really enjoyed it in that way. I don't know if I would enjoy this song if you hadn't recommended it, if I just heard it on the radio, but because I know how much you like it, I just really enjoyed that song.
I think that's why I kind of like it. It's not I sophomorically want to say all the lyrics are so fantastic because I'm in this period of transition and I feel like I connect with them easy, being oh yeah, that is me. I'm so much different than I was 2 years ago. This is just crazy. But yeah, I'm gonna regret saying that in 6 minutes. So I get done with this, I'll hit you back up.
Oh, Sean, don't worry. I feel like most of us regret everything we say on this podcast 6 minutes after we say it.
Well, what else did you like, Sean?
I really liked Sunflower Bean, the Human Ceremony. I first heard this on WKEX or KEXP. That's what it is, out of Portland. They have the awesome YouTube channel where they do like live performances, and I was like, wow, these guys are amazing. Like a very like indie punk rock kind of feel, which seems to be huge that I'm into right now. So check that out. Kind of my Spotify also has really been pushing a lot of like female vocalist punk bands my way. I must be doing something right.
Should playlist that a little bit. You should get that going. Yeah, I mean, I actually want to reflect on Kurt Vile as well. I actually really enjoy that, probably also for the same reason that everyone else kind of listed. You know, it felt very Sean, but it felt like something that would actually I've almost sort of been searching for, because it feels like you're always kind of like looking for like that, you know, that like just kind of like dirty guitar, you know, like very like stripped down, very basic, you know, kind of like in a way that like people kind of like Jack White's kind of like solo stuff. And I was like, well, I want to listen to something other than him. So this seems like a good option. So I was super excited about that.
It was good.
No comment. All right, great.
And then my last one would be Slaves, which I kind of added at the last second. Their 2015 album, Are You Satisfied? And basically just to give you like a short history of why I love two-piece bands, besides the fact that I was in them, is just because like I think they embody the spirit of punk rock and kind of like anybody can do what you want. But they have like a stand-up drummer and there's just two guys and they kind of do everything themselves. It's very simplistic but like super loud and raw. I just love that stuff. Just fantastic. Sorry that I wasn't able to put a link in there so you guys could kind of react to it, but...
Well, you actually sent me this album earlier in the year, and I fell in love with it. And then I listened to their second album that came out late this year, and I also loved that. Their second album is produced by Mike D from the Beastie Boys, which is badass. But yeah, they're just like super angry. And it feels really nice sometimes to just like go back to two dudes being really loud and super angry. And I've been listening to it a lot when I work out because it's just so like propulsive.
But yeah, I think I'm also specifically interested in two-piece bands as well, because I think, kind of as Sean said, I think there's something really raw about it because there's only so much you can do. Like what are you gonna do? Like you have to make it work somehow. And I feel like you don't have a lot of choice. I think that really leads to a lot of creative solutions, which I think is really fun.
Tyler, what music did you love this year?
Oh, Jesus. All right. Okay. So I would definitely say that this year was very experimental for me. It kind of was me kind of recalling previous like sort of like genres and things I was kind of interested in, and kind of really kind of dug into them a little bit. Kind of like one of the last things I kind of found this year was this sort of subgenre of mushroom jazz, or sort of like more instrumental, like hip hop kind of stuff, where it's just like a lot of just like sort of like piano, you know, like just like drum, like very simple, very minimal, you know, maybe like some songs, like some vocal samples. And I wouldn't say at any point am I like, man, this is like this is what I'm in. This is the mood I'm in for, you know. Like I'm like, but it's like it's not like anything that I'm like chomping at the bit to listen to. But if I'm like working or just kind of doing something, doing like chores around the house, and it's just kind of chill, it's just kind of nice just to kind of put it as background music, and it's just perfect. And it's like almost like Hey Arnold aesthetic almost, because I just always just imagine like I want to be as cool as his room is all the time. It's just always jazz playing all the time. Emapea was just the artist that I selected. They had an album that came out this year. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. Had some interesting stuff on it, but it's more of to represent just kind of the whole thing, the whole interest I found of that genre.
Tyler, I'm so excited that you're into this because I've already assembled a massive list of albums that you need to listen to next.
Great. What does this consist of?
I'll put a link in the Slack, but it involves some DJ Shadow and some Thievery Corporation, and then you start getting a little bit more vocal and rap heavy with stuff like Mad Villain, and eventually kind of evolving into the underground rap scene. Because another name for what you've been listening to is trip hop, which is this like very minimal vocalless hip hop that's heavily jazz influenced. And you can go from that slowly but surely into the realm of underground hip hop pretty easily.
I feel like I'm going to sound ignorant as fuck, but is Massive Attack trip hop?
Massive Attack is like the standard bearer of trip hop. They're like one of the inventors of the genre.
Right. That's what I was like. I just wanted to make sure that was one that.
Yeah. So if you're looking at like the beginning of trip hop, it's DJ Shadow and Massive Attack.
I mean, it's definitely, I don't know how deep that rabbit hole is going to go, but it was definitely something that I found, and I was like, wow, this is sweet. This is because it feels like every time I listen to a jazz playlist on Spotify, it's always just like slow, sad, like, oh, like just kill me kind of stuff. Like it doesn't.
Seth's gonna be so mad at you.
There's just a kind of jazz that I like, and that's just not it. I have very specific taste in regards to jazz.
I hate jazz, so.
Well, maybe you should take a class on jazz appreciation, and then you will learn to appreciate.
Oh my God, that's
Not
the most. That's the
hell.
most jazz thing you could probably say. Why don't you take a class on appreciating something that's art?
Over my dead body.
Oh no!
All right, Tyler. Before we start a shitstorm, what else did you like this year?
Okay, so I accidentally also fell down another rabbit hole, which was Vocaloid music. So
can you explain what this is for us uncultured swine?
Okay, so I think the best way to sort of explain it is through the lens of Hatsune Miku. So Hatsune Miku is a character that's also like a Vocaloid program that you can buy. And so Vocaloid is sort of like just sounds like you can like, I don't know the exact process, but basically you can, it's like a digital voice recreator. So you can just make someone talk without having to like literally speak the words. So there's a specific program called Hatsune Miku. And so she's this character. She has a certain aesthetic that I believe was created by Sega. Of course I'm off the cuff. I don't know 100%. So anyone could just buy like her voice set, and you can just make songs with her. And so every song that features her voice is technically canon. And so she's this character that I guess independently also goes on tours. So they have like these visual performances. So typically it's mostly just like sort of independent people just making music better, but they also do tours. And so, how do you do a tour with a voice program? Well, you like project her in like this really like high-tech manner. So like kind of how they did like Tupac, they recreated him for like Coachella or one of those big festivals. They like, they made him a hologram, they displayed him. Well, they do the same sort of thing with Hatsune Miku. And so it's a specific character. She was on like David Letterman in like 2014, and everyone thought that was really weird. But so this all sort of like kind of relates into each other. I think the moment that kind of like I had this moment of sort of like this clarity was Nick Robinson, who's related to Porter Robinson, which is another artist I found this year that I was really interested in. He went to a concert, and he was really talking about the performance in a way that really meant a lot to me, in that, she doesn't do anything crazy. This isn't like she's doing acrobatics. She's performing very reasonably. And the band is prominently displayed. They're not like hidden. They really thank, the musicians that play the music. It's all there. And they're, people are really excited for it. They do like certain dances, it's very participatory. And so this sort of like all this stuff that's kind of surrounding it just feels so interesting. And I just thought it was just really cool. I mean, once you kind of get past like the initial thing of like, oh, this is just a digital program that people are making songs for, I just thought it was, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's, it's certainly weird, but I mean, I don't know.
I would kill to see Hatsune Miku and Tupac perform together.
10 out of 10 do ship.
Yeah. What would their split EP be called?
So here's how it would be called: California, but it would be spelled however you spell that weird, like auto-tuned way Tupac says California in the song California. There'd be like 20 eyes, is what I'm saying.
But what was kind of cool is that Anamanguchi, which is a sort of the sort of the when you think of chiptunes, they're sort of like one of the people that you think of first. They're sort of like the most mainstream one. They went on tour with her, and then they made like a song that's kind of like about her. It's like the first like kind of official song that's like technically like her song. So it was kind of cool, and I think it really brought like sort of like a realness to it for me as well. That's what I thought was kind of interesting. It's like suddenly you throw a chiptune band on there, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. It suddenly feels less weird.
It still feels pretty weird, but it was a catchy song, and I've had it stuck in my head for like 3 weeks. So thanks for that.
Look, Taylor, let me just tell you that once you get used to it, the rest of Japan is just so much weirder. That ain't shit. We'll get you there when we get our anime podcast. We'll get you there.
All right, Zach, please save me from this weird anime nightmare. What did you listen to this year?
Dragon Ball Z soundtrack.
Oh, God, no.
I'm just kidding. They just use the same 5 songs the entire show. It's nuts. No, music-wise, one of my big albums of this year, which has been kind of like in a weird dispute amongst a lot of people, is Childish Gambino's "Awaken My Love," which has been quite a departure from his previous works. It's quite awesome. It's very like funk, R&B, soul-y. It's great. It's not like anything like super new, but it's new for him, and I like what he executed on it. And it's got a really great like work in like the song Riot or like Redbone, Me, You, and Your Mama. There's only really like one throwaway track, and that's California. And
God,
it's like
I
a
hate that
bullshit
song.
Yeah, that song is such bullshit. But everything else, I really like it a lot, and I think it's great, and I can't wait to see what he does next. A big dispute with it is that people feel like he's ripping off Parliament Funkadelic, unlike the majority of the album is what I've seen as far as big legitimate complaints. And I'd never honestly listened to Parliament or Parliament Funkadelic at all until that I saw that complaint, and I listened to most of their discography, which I found a new thing that I like, which I should put that on the list, but that's not really a 2016 thing, but
See, to me, this might as well have been called Hotboxing with Childish Gambino. Because this album feels like the sort of thing you put on when you're about to smoke a ton of weed and you don't have anywhere to be for the next day. Like, we put this on in my apartment and just like had it repeat itself for an entire afternoon. And it just flows like front to back, front to back, front to back, over and over and over, like endlessly. And if you're into that kind of thing, this is a good album for that. Just take California out because that song's fucking garbage. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of fun with this album. I am disappointed that he doesn't rap at all on it, but I think he does a good job with doing a funk album. So why not?
I like it. It's pretty good. I like what I heard. I might actually listen to more. We'll see. It definitely certainly interests me more than his previous works. And I listened to a little bit. I wasn't really blown away, but this actually sort of piqued my interest. I think it's a nice departure for him. I think it's a little bit more interesting, I think. But
I am useless to this conversation because I didn't like the album at all.
Did not like it at all.
I did not like it. I also don't like funk, so...
I also really loved Open Mike Eagle's Hella Personal Film Festival, which I spelled wrong in the notes, I just realized, which featured Paul White.
Thank you for writing this down on your list so I didn't have to write it down on mine. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so good. I enjoy it. Like, everything is so great. It flows perfectly. It's like, of the rap albums I listened to this year, which probably anyone could have listened to more than I did. I listened to maybe 10. And this was hands down one of the best ones, if not the best rap album of this year. Open Mike Eagle, he's great. He's great. He's an authentic guy. His flow is great. Lyrical content's great. And it's 9 times out of 10, it's always relatable. So really enjoyed this.
With his last album, Dark Comedy, I thought there's no way that Mike can do anything more personal than that album, because he talks about fatherhood and all these complex issues of race, and then he comes in with this album with just really intensely relatable but personal songs, things like Check to Check, which are all about being addicted to your phone. I love Smiling, which is about how his white fans don't feel like they can be nice to him on the street and things like that. This album is just so interesting, and so fun. Like, it talks about serious issues, but it's really funny too. Like, I love the song Dang is Invincible, which is all about when you wake up after a night of drinking and you don't have a hangover and you feel like you're invincible. That's probably my favorite song on the album because, like, I've lived that. I have eaten a burrito at 2 a.m. so that I don't have a hangover the next morning.
But you do have explosive diarrhea. It's a whole
Hey
other
man,
issue.
better than a hangover.
Anyone else listen to any of those? All right.
Unfortunately, Open Mike Eagle, I don't think was on the playlist that we got.
He is. You probably just didn't get down there. It's
Well,
towards the
I listened to
bottom.
the whole fucking thing. So I sat there and listened to it at work. So I didn't get a chance.
That means you liked it.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you know what? My favorite artist of 2016, Open Mike Eagle. I really like the way that he says the words. They're really just great words.
Just dandy.
Gosh, dang it. I just love, gee golly. I can't get enough of those words.
All right, well, just check them out. Check out that album. Check out all this stuff because it's all quite great and well done. And not one of his albums feel like they drag along anywhere during the course of them. So they're very nice. My other big thing musically for this year was Brand New's 3 demos reworked. It's kind of a weird thing because the demos in question were from a collection of leaked demos that came out before Devil and God were Raging Inside Me came out back in 2005. And they were 3. It was weird because back then it was just a handful of stuff, which they also re-released. They actually officially put out those demos earlier this year, as those raw demos, just because. But this was actually them taking 3 of the songs they really liked from those demos and formatting them and recording them for real and mixing them. And it's just really great. It's just 3 tracks, and I don't know. It's very, very mature. It's very along the same lines of what Devil and God were, which is still one of my favorite albums of all time. And especially Brother Song, if you guys get a chance to listen to that, even if you didn't manage to listen to the playlist, it's just nice. There's something weird about it. It just hits me right in the feels personally because it makes me think about my friends and family, and my actual younger brother and stuff like that, and just kind of the world and vague statement and all that. So, but yeah, it's really good. Plus, since we won't get a brand new album for a little bit, and they're supposed to break up in 2018, it's kind of nice to have this.
Brand New has never really excited me all that much. They've just kind of been a band that was around. This was kind of cool to hear their creative process from demo to song. I still wasn't blown away by it, but I think if you're the kind of person that likes listening to demos, you might as well give those a listen because it's a cool thought experiment.
Mm-hmm.
So do we know why they haven't made a new album in almost 10 years?
They're working on it right now.
Are they?
It's supposed to come out. They were supposed to bring it out at the end of this year, and then they were just we're not. And then they released this. Is basically what happened. So they're still working on it.
I mean, I guess to be fair, they put out 4 albums. How many?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's it should be 4.
I mean, I wasn't super into it, but I'm not into sad boy music. But I obviously understand the importance and influence of Brand New on everyone in the world. So, I mean, I can't be oh, this is fucking dumpster garbage. But
Devil and God was I still think it's a very mature album. And I don't find it very. I mean, yeah, they have it's weird because they don't really they scream, but they don't scream. It's kind of like when Dave Grohl screams. It's not a fucking little kid screamo scream. It's weird. I don't know, but people still put them in that bubble of emo with Dashboard Confessional and shit like that.
Yeah. I mean, it feels in a more traditional context of what emo. Well, oh god.
Yeah, I mean, it's closer to a Sunny Day Real Estate.
Yeah.
Than whatever. Yeah.
Because technically, if you're oh, it's Hawthorne Heights, well, technically they're screamo, which is this entire separate subgenre that's sort of closely related. But we don't need to talk about it.
Oh my God, Sean, save us before we try to define emo.
Right. Let's.
Don't do it.
Just stop.
All right, do you want me to talk about what I liked on the web this year?
Yeah, you can go first in the web stuff. What do you got, Janet? What did you like online this year?
All right. So this year was the year for celebrity feuds, and I loved every moment of it because I personally love drama, and I love it even more when I'm not involved. My first thing was Amber Rose versus Kanye. Hashtag fingers in the booty ass bitch. I died.
That was the best hashtag of 2016, hands down.
And that was last January or February. When I saw that, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, the internet has not already done this, and it did. And so now we all know. Now we all know that Kanye likes his booty played with, which is not a bad thing. 2016, it's a year of exploration. And
but so no, that was 2016 because Amber Rose tweeted that based on a line on Life of Pablo, which we're gonna get to here in a second because I already know what your next celebrity feud is because I'm looking at the Google Doc.
Yeah, the one above it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Get it, girl.
Second one was when fucking Kimye destroyed Taylor Swift. I fucking live for that shit. On National Snake Day, no less. I've always liked Kim Kardashian. I've always had a lot of respect for her in the sense that she took a horrible life event and made just hundreds of millions of dollars off of it. So I'm always you go, boo. You do you, whatever. But then when she destroyed Taylor Swift, I became I became whole at that moment. When Taylor Swift got destroyed, because I hate Taylor Swift. I was at peace with the world and with myself when I read that.
You were one with the Force, and the Force was with you.
Yeah, I was complete when they called out Taylor Swift for lying.
Let's be real. The release of the Famous video was a watershed moment in that feud. Celebrity feuds are, you can be into them or you can not be into them. The Famous video was a tipping point where everybody was talking about that, and it was so fascinating.
Oh God, I love it. I love celebrity feuds. All right,
Jesus, all you need is someone shred Taylor Swift.
Yep. No, that's pretty much all it is. Yeah. I was like, yes, get her, because I hate Taylor Swift. I like her music, but she just reminds me, she's just we wouldn't be friends. If for some reason, I was famous and she wanted to be friends, I would be no. So, yeah. Anyways, but my loves weren't all malicious and based off of the hurtful feelings towards other people. A big favorite was the friendship between Joe Biden and Obama, which has become super extra clear. I love them. I love the Joe Biden meme that happened, but just when Obama made that friendship bracelet, I felt another level of completeness that I had not felt since did Taylor Swift happen before that or after that? Anyways, it was the second time this year that I was it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all I'm saying is that was the second time this year. Those 2 times were the 2 times this year where I felt truly there is good in this world. So
man, Joe and Barack just love each other so much.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. It's so nice to see bros just I don't know, because I just feel in our society, and it's changed a lot, and I'm going to talk about this and when I talk about Yuri on Ice, but I feel it's always been bros who are super I don't know, not outgoing, but just who care about each other. Oh man, that's so gay. I don't know. I just feel our society is very bros can't show that they love each other. I don't know. Whenever I see Biden and Obama, I'm just those are 2 people who genuinely are just good friends, and they care about each other as friends. And it makes me really happy.
I feel I first took notice of this when the video "How Will Obama Spend His Retirement" came out. And I feel that really sort of solidified, sort of really kind of cemented their personalities, kind of as they are exiting office.
I just had a horrifying thought.
Okay.
Do you think out there is Joe Biden and Barack Obama fan fiction?
Nope. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah, there's probably hentai. Oh God, I don't ship them that way. I just want them to be best friends.
I have personally seen people that have written political fan fiction where I saw one that was like Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders and Uncle Joe, and they were having this like bring America together dialogue, like legislative drama, soap opera style. And like it's so funny because the woman, like, she signed her name to it and like had it published independently. And like the common theme or the common thread of all these books too is they always write themselves like a nice little cameo in it. Like I was up on Capitol Hill and I saw that blah 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 blah, and like they're like the Hardy Boy or something like that. Like they're always like
it's like some bad live journal shit.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Gosh, that is. I think my favorite Tumblr, sorry, a little bit unrelated, but kind of. I think my favorite Tumblr post during the election cycle was when somebody had to post, it was on Tumblr, and somebody had to post, for the love of God, stop drawing Bernie Sanders in flower crowns and just go vote for the man. Because it was like right when, because like everyone kept drawing like they kept writing fan fiction and like drawing him as like Snow White and shit, but nobody would go out and vote for him.
Let's be honest though, if we're shipping anybody, I ship Bernie and the bird.
Oh my God, I bought that sticker. I have it framed in my house. So my last web love of this year was Ted Cruz, Zodiac Killer. I know that the math doesn't add up, but I firmly believe it. I had a little, not like a shrine, but I had a little thing dedicated to him in my queue. And then one day it went missing. So I think somebody saw it and took offense. But Ted Cruz is the Zodiac Killer, and I will stand by that till my last dying days.
I was reading something recently, and it said that the public policy polling, the survey research group. Hold on, when was it? It's hilarious.
We found a distinct moment when everyone decided not to vote for Ted Cruz, and there's the exact moment when that weird white thing came out of his mouth while he was talking, which was probably his tooth. And I'll stay back by the head.
Oh, here it is. It says that 38% of Floridians think that that Ted Cruz might be the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, that was the official thing that started it. And I love that was like an actual thing that happened with a presidential candidate, like nominee candidate. But I just love that was like an actual thing that followed him around. And like
2016 was so bad that we may have possibly elected someone who may have possibly been a serial killer.
I do want to say, I said that bit about like being able to eat while like someone is vomiting in front of me, and that's 100% true. However, I was eating when I saw the video of Ted Cruz and that white thing coming out of his mouth, and that almost did make me vomit.
We still don't know what it is to this day.
It was his alien egg sac coming out of his mouth.
Oh my God.
He's a lizard person.
Right. Well, speaking of the lizard people, one of my favorite things on the internet this year was Memethany Meme Tano's meme review on YouTube. Oh my God. I loved the meme review. I cannot think of anything this year that I waited for as patiently as I waited for each new episode of the meme review. Fantano knocked this out of the park. Just a hilarious web series about dank memes, and it had its own weird lore to it, and oh my gosh, it was just fun. It was just really fun. I had a ton of fun watching the meme review this year.
Because you were like, he's gotta do this. You're like, the memes came out, and you're like, we gotta wait for it. We gotta wait for the meme review.
Yeah, fucking Chewbacca Mom was the first one, and I was like, all right, we're off to the races now. Whatever the next meme is, he's got to do it. And he just kept doing it and doing it. And I remember waiting for the Dat Boy review. I was like, oh man, Dat Boy's gonna be so good, and it was amazing. Love the meme review.
I will be honest, not my type of humor. I know. I don't know why, but everyone else's loves just didn't mesh up with mine.
I'm sorry, Janet, but this is triggering me right now, and I just can't handle it.
Oh, well, better get into a safe space then.
Don't ever talk to me or my son again.
I used that at work the other day. I was like, don't ever talk to me or my hamster ever again. They're like, that's not how the meme goes. I was like, but Yeah, no, not my type of humor. Like
Just
the
funny
effort.
as someone that literally spent like 10 minutes just using makeup to draw on their hand the last time you're on our podcast.
Yeah, somebody who loves cringe humor.
Like, for someone who loves shit posting and just like dumb shit, I just don't like video, like stuff like that. For some reason, I just don't like it.
The other thing that I loved this year was Casey Neistat and the whole video blogging movement in general. Casey Neistat ended his video blog, unfortunately, this year, but he kind of like rocketed into fame with some of his really viral vlog videos this year, like the one about the really expensive hotel room or the really expensive airplane cabin or whatever. It just was fun. Like, it was fun to kind of get a peek into this ridiculous lifestyle that he leads. And I feel like it motivated a lot more people to create things on YouTube. I've seen a lot of high schoolers and like college students making videos very similar to what he does. And I think that's cool because it's been a while since we've had somebody really blow up on YouTube. And so it's nice to see that that can still happen.
As someone that has watched none percent of his videos, I'm sorry. I do sort of appreciate, what he did and sort of what kind of happened around the time of him quitting the daily vlog, which was around the same time that PewDiePie was like, I'm just going to delete my YouTube channel because YouTube just fucks me anyway. So, I think that sort of the end of 2016, we experienced this sort of like real backlash on YouTube and then kind of like, what are you doing? I think he was a very influential person this year. I think that's super important, despite, having no idea what he did.
I watched the video that you posted. I actually really, really liked it because especially the ones that that are for things that I would never be able to do. Like, I'm not going to be able to afford a first class ticket on an Emirates flight, but like watching him do it, I was like, oh shit, that's kind of cool. Made me a little bit sad because I was like, damn, I'll never get to experience that. But so I think I personally wouldn't watch it like every day, but if he did like I like the topics. I mean, I don't know. I'm a little bit cynical, I guess. I feel like this is going to like bring a rise of people who are like, oh, look at me, I'm eating a sandwich, like doing like dumb shit that nobody cares about.
Oh, it totally is.
Yeah, which is just clogging up the internet. I know that's not possible, but so I don't know. I think that if you've got like a cool niche kind of thing, like being super rich, I thought it was kind of cool. I liked it.
Oh man, when I talked about Uncle Joe, thanks Janet. I'm realizing that her and I have a lot of internet things in common, kind of, a little bit. I loved Google Apps. Dude, I don't know. It's just fantastic. I've been using it more and more. Yeah.
Like referring to Google Drive and all that stuff.
Google Drive and like Google Docs and Google Sheets, and it's just a cool idea.
Did that take off this year, or is this like a fairly recent?
No, it's been around for a while. It's just, I don't know if you as you guys probably know because I talked about it on this podcast before, that I'm like really huge into like accessible apps to help people do stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think like Chrome is a really good way to do that. Like I'm actually looking at getting a Chromebook because I love my Mac, don't get me wrong, but like my laptop is hanging on.
You want to get something new. You want to change it up a little bit. Let's see what else is out there.
Right.
Google is sort of picking up the mantle kind of where Apple left off, and that they're trying to really kind of like simplify life in a meaningful way. Whereas Apple, like, yeah, they're making, they're removing audio checks, but I mean, it's like, it's not really feel like it's leaps and bounds. But right. Like, I'm using Google, I'm using Gmail, I'm using Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Excel, I'm making surveys on there. Like, I'm using Google for so many things. And it's like been such a consistent like focus of my life for probably 5 years. I've had a Gmail account high school, and it's consistently been, stable work for me, and I feel like I've only experienced good things about their products for the most part. I mean, Google Plus, we don't talk about that, but I mean,
So everyone's got to have a hiccup at some place. You can't win all the time.
Well, and right. I think we do need to give a shout out to Google Photos this year. I think Google Photos was a big win for them that really kind of pushed Apple into doing a better Photos app. If you haven't played with Google Photos at all, I would encourage you to just upload some photos into it and see what all it can do, because it's fucking mind-blowing, the things that it can learn about your photos. Like, you can put all of your photos in it and just search, like, dog, and it'll pull every photo that you've ever taken that has a dog in it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just like crazy stuff like that. It was a huge win for them. I was really impressed with it. So yeah, I'm right on board with this, Sean. I think you're right.
I mean, and just to kind of like top it all off, I mean, also Google released the Pixel, which I hear is getting pretty good reviews. I know I have a friend that uses it. He likes it. I've heard only good things. So I mean Google's had in general a pretty good year, I would say.
On the internet this year, I liked a lot of things, but to be specific and concise about what I like that wasn't the same shit I like every year in the same theme, I enjoyed H3H3 a lot. I've been enjoying them a lot this year. I kind of just started watching that channel this year, and I've never been big into YouTube personalities typically until this year with them. And I just really appreciate Ethan Klein and his kind of like, number one, he's super funny. He's also just very logical and like explains his reasoning for things. And he kind of just like critiques and makes fun of things that are, for lack of a better term, stupid or like just like conducive to like a good ecosystem of like YouTube and typically like the internet at large. One of his more notable videos is this year is where he actually called out the YouTuber Joey Salads for making a staged fucking like quote unquote social experiment. He basically like went to a quote unquote all white neighborhood or mostly white neighborhood and said Black Lives Matter and like had like a sign and got like these reactions. It was mainly like lukewarm reactions. It's like most people were just like whatever. But then he does like the contrasting one where he goes to a black neighborhood and he essentially had like hired like black actors like acting like they were mad at him and trying to be very aggressive with him. And it was found out that this was a hoax. And even before like there was concrete evidence it was a hoax, Ethan Klein to put up a video like, this is clearly fucking staged. Like, this is clearly staged. And then there was hard concrete evidence. And he even had a follow-up video where he interviewed Joey Salads and got Joey Salads to admit that he fucking staged it, which was amazing. Because fuck that guy. He's an interesting, funny crusader of sorts, and I really enjoy that. Plus, him and his wife have like a really cute relationship and like back and forth between each other in mostly all their videos, and I like that. It's very cute. I want to have a double date with them with my girlfriend. So
we've talked about them on this show before, and I remember thinking, man, I really need to watch more of their videos. And now hearing you talk about them more, I really need to watch more of their videos.
No, don't get me wrong. A lot of them there's just like nonsense, funny stuff. But there, like I said, there's a lot of those gems where they just make fun of and just like call out just bullshit like that. And like that's usually the main draw.
So this year, I consumed a lot of content from the McElroy family of products, which, if you don't know, is a combination of Justin, Travis, Griffin, McElroy, and pretty much anyone else they kind of work with. Some of them work for Polygon, and so they make video game content, but they also have a podcast called My Brother and Me. And so there's just all these like videos and podcasts kind of in this world that are all very fun and goofy and just really, I feel like really inventive. And it feels like in 2016 they really pushed hard. I think they put out a lot of great content. Like for example, I'll just start listing them off. Monster Factory, which they take video games and they have like character generators and they just goof the fuck out of them. Like going into Second Life and making weird characters, or like Dark Souls and goofing around, or like The Sims. Then there's Griffin's Amiibo Corner, which is this weird, like almost surrealist, like review of Amiibos where Griffin reviews the Amiibo in a very strange way and then also puts them in his mouth, which is goofy, and it makes sense if you actually watch it. Then there's Car Boys, which is this physics simulator about cars that he does with Nick Robinson, where they just fuck around in this car simulation game where they just try weird shit and make crash cars and they do all sorts of funny shit. Cool Games Inc., which is a design podcast where they basically get submissions for game ideas and then they just riff on them really hard. They usually have hilarious results. And then on a more serious side, Mario Maker came out this year. And Nick Robinson sort of did some good journalism, and he kind of went to different like independent developers, and so he had them design Mario Maker levels, and they kind of showed this off, and those are really fun. And so just overall, like there was so much stuff that they put out this year, and it was just really just amazing just to sort of be there and witness all of it. And it was like, you know, every week I look forward to like all these different products, and it just really made my year, I think, in regards to content. Did anyone else observe any of these things?
My brother, and me is kind of like what every podcast hopes and dreams to become. Like more than anything in the world, I would love for Dudes Brunch to grow into a situation where this is the core and each one of us has 10 other things that we do and we make money from all of them, and that's how we make a living. They have done an exceptional job of that, and I'm so happy for them. I just wish I knew like what the secret sauce was to do it myself.
It turns out being blood related, having strong connections to your family, and probably doing a lot of improv comedy, I would imagine. Doing it for years. I don't know how long. They've been at the game for a pretty long time.
Oh yeah, my brother and me is like one of the longest running podcasts, and people still go back and listen to it from the beginning, which like blows my freaking mind.
Right. Well, to be fair, there's really no beginning and no end. It just kind of like, because what do? People send them questions. They answer them in humorous ways. They answer Yahoo questions, which is an evergreen, just like thing that you can always reach from the nether and just pull out and be like, this is just as fresh as the day that I left it. But it's just been really great. I'm really psyched that I found their stuff, and it's been a wonderful year for podcasts and video and YouTube for me.
All right, so let's bring things a little more mainstream for our normie friends and talk about the films, television, and other media that we enjoyed this year. I'll go first since I have probably the most basic answer as my first one. I really loved Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them this year. I thought as a spin-off of the Harry Potter movie series, this was a lot of fun, and it was really fun to see a Harry Potter style story that was made up exclusively for the screen. They didn't have to be tied down by following a book. They could just make it whatever it wanted to be. It's the first movie in a long time that I liked so much I saw it in theaters twice. I think it was just a good, fun little popcorn movie. I don't know if anybody else saw it, but I had a lot of fun with it.
I loved it. I loved the Niffler.
God, the Niffler was adorable.
He was so cute. And, like, it was just, like, I like that they used him for, like, comedy, but not, like, too much. It was a really good balance of funny and serious. And there was, like, there was enough plot. It wasn't, like, super complicated. I really, really enjoyed it. And I thought the CG was beautiful.
I wanted to see it. Didn't get a chance to see it. For good things, really want to see it.
Well worth it.
The unfortunate part is that basically, if Catherine and I go see a movie, we had to see it the Thursday it comes out at like the earliest possible time, or else we just never get around to seeing it.
So then the next thing that I loved this year was kind of a late addition to my list, but it just blew me away. It was the HBO series Westworld. A lot of culture podcasts are going to be talking about this December as they wrap up their year-end list, but man, was this good. If you have your free month HBO trial and you haven't used it yet, or you have HBO, you need to just take a weekend and watch all of Westworld because it is beautiful. The plot is complex and interesting. All of the performances are great. There's kick-ass Radiohead covers on a player piano throughout like the whole show. I mean, what's not to love?
You know, I didn't have I wanted to see the show, but it wasn't like as great as it is now to hear about player piano Radiohead covers. That really will drive me to watch that show way more now.
No, it's the Soundgarden radio cover that you got to hear.
Ooh, the Soundgarden one is really good too.
Yeah, when they do Black Hole Sun on it, I was like, yeah, this is great. Just keep doing more 90s on it.
So Sean, without spoiling anything about the plot, what did you think of Westworld?
It's all right.
Whoa.
I mean, I think in terms of big budget sci-fi series, it's one of the best ones we've had in a while.
Yeah, I mean, no, don't get me wrong. They didn't spare any expense on this. It wasn't really that, like, It's definitely science fiction, but it took a long time for the plot to move, and I think you can kind of read it pretty easy. It's not bad, but it's not like John Evans' high standard science fiction corner over here. Like,
I think if you were going to watch any one scripted series from this year, though, it might as well be Westworld, right?
Right. Well, you can tell that this is very like, this is a Nolan Brothers show. It's very like Nolan-esque.
Oh yeah, it's executive produced by Christopher Nolan, and you can tell from the very beginning. And then my last love in the movies and TV is kind of out of left field. It's a French, I guess you can call it a sitcom. It's a French scripted drama series on Netflix. It's called A Very Secret Service. And it's kind of this deadpan comedy about a sort of like dorky guy who backs his way into becoming a spy. And it takes place in France in like the very end of the period before World War II. So it's like right between World War I and World War II. And it's kind of like the fall of the French colonial empire. It's just really funny and kind of like snarky. Definitely not for everybody because it's all in French, so you have to read subtitles. But if you like witty deadpan comedies, you should definitely give it a shot. I'm guessing nobody else on this podcast has probably watched it though.
Yeah, when I watched the trailer for that, I was like, yeah, this looks like a show Taylor would like. I was like, of course you would post it. So I've never seen it.
All right, Sean, what did you watch this year?
I'll just cut right to the chase. If you're not watching Rick and Morty, watch Rick and Morty. That's it. Just turn on Rick and Morty. It's probably one of the funniest shows I've ever seen. It's got this like super awesome science fiction, like nothing is sacred in it. It's hilarious. Like, and it doesn't go into, it doesn't need like corny things that animated shows have nowadays, you know, like Family Guy going off in a tangent and stuff like that. Like, it really is just like a hilarious show. Other than that, I liked Peaky Blinders if you're into period pieces, which I am.
Both of those things have been on my list in Netflix for fucking ever, so you're gonna have to hound me to watch them.
We need to do a Force fandom with Rick and Morty.
Yeah, that would be a good Force fandom, actually. We might have to do that.
But other than that, that's about it. And John Oliver was good this year. I love that he took The Daily Show and made it like 30-minute long, one segment piece where he could actually talk about substance.
Yeah, John Oliver was super on point this year. I was very impressed.
So, yeah, that was good. That's it. That's all I really talk about. If anybody has any feelings about those things.
And that's the way the news goes. Wubba lubba dub dub.
Wubba lubba dub dub.
Yeah, Tiny Rick.
Ricky Ticky Tommy, bitch.
Lick my balls.
We were doing Sarah and I we watched V6 the other day.
My favorite episode, because I still need to watch all of season 1, but I've seen all of season 2, is the one with the memory parasites, Mr. Poopy Butthole.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain to me Rick and Morty in a way that'll make me want to watch it?
Okay. Rick and Morty is an animated series about a grandpa and a son, and a grandson, and they go on space adventures to all kinds of different stuff. Their characters develop really fast, but it's kind of like very suburban household with a dysfunctional family, and like there's always gonna be problems, you know. Like, okay, so one of the episodes in season 2 is they do like a version of The Purge, but it's on this cat world where people are Amish. It's just like, it sounds kind of crazy, but like when you watch it, you're like, oh, I get it. Or like things that you think would be so easy just go so totally wrong. Like the Meeseeks episode that I was just talking about with Zach. A Meeseek is like just like a little goo person that like comes to life to solve like a task, right? And Brick kind of tells the family, like, just make it simple tasks. Like, don't do anything like really hard, right? So the plot is like the characters ask the Meeseeks. One of them is like, make me popular at school. Another one's like, make me a more fulfilled woman. And then the other one is like, take 2 strokes off my golf game. One of those lines goes like terribly wrong, and the Meeseeks like develop a consciousness beyond what they should, and like it becomes this whole like action, almost like Speed or It almost turns into like a 90s action movie, like
See,
Die Hard.
This sounds like the kind of show I would love. I just haven't spent the time on it. I really got to get into it.
And it's
So,
only
like-
like 20 minutes long. They're real short.
If you had to compare it to any existing animated sitcom and then manipulate in some way to like be like, so how like this is like Futurama, but fucking stupid, you know, like is there another cartoon that you could say it most like closely shares its like ties with?
So based on the 2 episodes I've watched, it's like American Dad without the dad built on top of the multiverse theory.
Man, I don't know. Maybe it's like if Family Guy merged with David and Goliath, merged with Mythbusters, merged with like there's so many mixed with like The Soup, mixed with
So
anything.
to put it into perspective for you, Tyler, Dan Harmon, who created Community, is one of the lead writers on this.
Oh, that's
So it has
certainly
that
interesting.
kind of sense of humor.
So yeah, highly recommend.
Well, Tyler, since you obviously weren't watching Rick and Morty, what were you watching this year?
YouTube, and then movies. So some of my favorite movies were Kubo and the Two Strings, very good animated movie. Rogue One.
Yas, Queen.
All right, don't get excited now. And then Zootopia. And then I haven't had a chance to finish Stranger Things yet, but I started to watch it, and I was like, fuck, I'm invested. And I was like, wasn't in any way expecting to be. I started watching Stranger Things with Catherine, kind of towards Halloween, like on like the day before on Halloween, and I was like, whoa. She was like, I don't think you'll like it. I was like, yeah, I like it, because she said it was like scary, or it was like a horror thing, but really it's like the Thing level of kind of creepy almost. It's not like really too over the top, at least not so far. So don't spoil it. But I'm like, it's just a kid stuck behind this membrane skin that's inside a house that's in a different dimension, and you're like, yeah, it's fine. It's not that scary.
You know, just.
Has anyone watched Stranger Things?
Yes,
Anyone?
it's actually one of my favorite anythings of all time.
Anythings of all
yeah.
time. Wow.
I need to watch it.
I tried to get into it, but I couldn't do it.
It flew past me and I didn't have time.
Right. I mean, definitely is a slow burner. You gotta, I mean, the first few episodes, you're kind of like, I don't know if I like some of these characters, and then they kind of grow on you a little bit. Like the cop in the first episode, you're kind of like, he's just kind of a piece of shit because he doesn't really want to do his job. But it kind of like, he kind of evolves, he kind of gets more into it. I think he's actually one of the most interesting characters in the show. So, and then,
Well, and that's kind of how I felt about Rogue One too. And I mean, we could do a whole podcast about Rogue One if we just kicked Sean out. But I felt like in the same way, it was kind of a slow burn where you didn't really feel anything for the characters, and then you were supposed to feel some things for the characters. And by the end of it, I'm still not sure I felt some things for all the characters, but I definitely felt some things for some of them.
and as it turns out, all you have to do is get someone who actually knows how to do martial arts or kung fu in a movie, and it's like, we can have better fight scenes instead of like all these jump cuts and weird like stand-ins, these stunt doubles to do all these scenes.
For real.
Yeah, I was like,
Zach, I know you had Rogue One on your list. Did you want to talk about it and then talk about whatever else you watched this year?
Yeah, we can do that. I love Rogue One. I love Star Wars in general. I really liked Episode 7, of course, but I really love Rogue One. Like, this might be one of my favorite Star Wars movies, right up there with Empire Strikes Back. It's just it does have a slow burn at the beginning, and it's definitely not without its faults. I don't want to spoil anything, but there were some just like, I feel like, poor choices of just usual the way deaths are portrayed that are just like cheesy and don't feel right in some parts. One part notably. But it was great. It was dark. It also was very, very good for me because whereas you have the original Star Wars movies that follow like Luke, Leia, and Han, Chewie, etc., which are like kind of these like larger than life characters. But the big thing with them is like they weren't like Luke was invested because that's all he had left because his family was fucking dead. But Han could have gotten out of the rebellion. Him and Chewie could have just fucking left. They didn't have to stay. Leia, she had a way out. She could have realistically probably gotten amnesty and married into the Empire, like by marrying a general or something like that, or some high-ranking officer, and she's out. These people in Rogue One, this is their fucking life. Like, they have nothing else. Like one of the main characters literally says he's been fighting in the rebellion since he was 6. So there's a lot more like sense of urgency and investment for these characters in this that I don't think is very relevant to most of the characters in the original trilogy for most of it. You know, because even like with Luke, it kind of felt like his overarching thing was more invested with his, once the Empire rolled around, his confrontation with Vader and how that was a whole family tie and all that. But no, it was great. And plus the last like 30 minutes is like my favorite moment in anything in a Star Wars movie. And wink, wink, nod, nod to the people who have seen it. That hallway scene at the end, holy fucking shit. Yeah, damn.
Faux real. So again, with the rest of your list, you have a bunch of stuff on here that I really liked.
Yeah, let's pull my list up. Yeah, there's also Master of None, which was a fantastic comedy. That was a great comedy, very smart, very well written. Aziz Ansari. It also had my boy Eric Wareheim in it. Great. Plus, there's a bunch of like new faces that I was happy to meet.
Yeah, Aziz's dad is amazing.
Yeah, he was great. And what's funny is like there was a lot of people online that I saw saying like, I know that it's his parents, but they're like terrible actors. It's like, no, this is how old Indian people are. Like, this is fucking it. This is it. Like, it's great. Like, there was such an authentic thing. And I honestly, I don't think that his whole connection with his, or like the whole dynamic between the parents and him would have been good at all with like regular actors. There's just such a nice like magic there between them, especially the actual like parents episode.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite episode of the season, honestly.
So good. Hey, I bought you this guitar. I thought you were going to learn to play. It's too hard. I went to play on my iPad or whatever he says. It's just so good. Such a great
the whole
talent.
like Aziz has to set up his dad's iPad sequence is hilarious.
Yeah. But it's a great show. If anyone listening or even anyone on the panel right now has not seen that show, that is worth sitting front to back. Like it's got a general appeal, I feel.
I didn't, but I'll think about it. It doesn't have anime characters on it, so I don't care.
Aziz Ansari is very animated. That up your alley, buddy?
Fuck out.
Hey, where's the Sean, where's the thing?
Need some of that Glock and Zeal.
You want the bell?
Dun, dun.
Yeah, well,
That didn't deserve the bell.
unbelievable.
Keep moving, Zach.
Yeah, keep moving. My last thing on the list was Captain America Civil War because I like superhero movies, and Captain America is one of my favorite heroes of all time, based around... God damn it.
Because it was the truth. That's why I got the bell.
Okay. Okay. But anyway, it's based off the storyline of the same name. It bears little resemblance to a lot of like what the original story was, but it was okay for me because it really was great in terms of like showing the division within the superheroes. Also, it had like a theme that I thought that I feel relates to my general paranoias and kind of conspiracy things that lie under the surface of my thoughts, in that I always feel like there's a third party that tries to drive two sides of society against each other for their own benefit. And that's basically what that movie is. And yeah, superheroes, with me reading too much into it.
Versus the government.
I mean, yeah, it was definitely a pretty good superhero movie. I definitely liked it. I think it certainly had almost a there's so many like special appearances, like pretty much just like nonstop, like cavalcade of stars. You're like, Ant-Man's here, great, and Spider-Man, which they probably shouldn't have ruined. They shouldn't have ruined that. Sorry if anyone didn't know that. But like, it's a cavalcade of stars, and it was just, I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. I thought it did a really good job of introducing a lot of introducing Spider-Man, because he's going to be the new Spider-Man because they're making a new movie for him. I think it did a really good job sort of introducing him, making kind of like having us win him over, because like this is the third reboot of Spider-Man in our lifetime.
And I swear,
like,
if this one doesn't work, I'm giving up.
Right. Because it's like, I'm like, all right, well, you showed him off already. We already know what we're getting into, so it'll probably be pretty good. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm in.
All right, Janet.
All right.
What anime bullshit did you watch?
Wow. Okay, that's hurtful.
I'm not gonna start your topic out on that. I am impressed with the animes that you find.
Okay, yeah, I should say I am also impressed with the animes that you find. I just mostly wanted to say that because it's funny.
To the show is No, that's fair. Very fair and warranted. But I do try to bring animes that are interesting and not stereotypical. So, okay, so first things first, before I start, Leo finally got his Oscar. 2016 was at least slightly, yeah. What?
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Leo getting his Oscar was like one of my highlights of early 2016.
Mm-hmm.
I did an Oscar party this year, and like everybody was screaming when he won the Oscar. They were also pretty drunk, but still.
About damn time. So, all right, so I just want to throw that out, and I also want to throw out Zootopia. I know Tyler just talked about it, but it made me cry. It was a really good movie. Everyone should go watch it. So I only picked 2 animes, but they're some pretty intense. First things first, Shouwa Genroku Rakugo Shinju. That's the 4th one on my list. I know I've talked about it on the podcast before, but it's still one of my all-time favorites. It's not your traditional plot line. It is, for those of you who may have not watched my podcast episode, it's following Rakugo performers, so they're one-man comedians, and it's like a traditional comedy style, and so it follows it's like kind of strange because the series itself follows this guy who got out of jail, but the entire first season is dedicated to the story of the guy who got out of jail, his Rakugo instructor. So the entire first season is like set in the past, and then they're coming out with the second season. Actually, January 6th is the first air date for the first episode. It's gonna like go back to present time, or actually it's like set in the 90s. So I highly recommend that. Like Sean said, Sean didn't directly say this, but it's a different type of anime. So if you're not traditionally into that kind of art form, I guess, that is something I recommend. It's a bit more mature. It's not tee-hee-hee, anime titties everywhere, desu desu. It's nothing like that. It's really... So
on a scale of like anime titties, desu desu, and on the other scale, the side is yokai watch, where would this fall?
Oh god, those are literally the same
those
side.
Are literally it's like, okay, it's like anime titties, yokai watch, just dumb shit. No offense.
Like maybe like just
I don't know
an
why
example Sean might know.
Anime Schindler List. It's not Anime Schindler.
Like Cowboy Bebop might be an anime that Sean might have heard of before that might be on like the other side for him. It's a little bit more serious. It's a little less bullshit.
Yeah, but it's not like this. Like it's like because there's your action, there's your dumb shit, there's your like life. So like it's not like fighting. It's just it's like.
Is it like a prism of anime?
Yeah, and for me, it was actually I learned a lot because I've never heard of Rakugo before. So I learned a lot about like the Japanese art style, and they take it like seriously, like, and they actually like perform different pieces, so you get to kind of watch that, which is really cool. So yeah, it's definitely more like slice of life, I guess, but highly recommend it still. Second season's coming out in January, so I'm pretty stoked. And then lastly, my most recent obsession. I know I've seen this all over the internet just because everyone was like, what the fuck is this? Yuri on Ice. To put it really short, it is gay ice skaters.
This is by far the most interesting of the videos that was.
Yeah. So it is a huge deal. So on one hand, like it's very like the 2 main characters are guys. They end up falling in love with each other, and like they don't say anything. Like it's just very normal. So it's really big in the LGBTQ community, just because it's not heteronormative in the least. Like everyone just acknowledges that these 2 characters are in love, and they're just like happy for them. So that's awesome. I don't really want to spoil anything, but they broke a whole bunch of not records, but in the Japanese anime community, it's actually quite censored. Even though I know like all you see are like anime titties and like skirts and stuff, like it's very censored in different ways. So it made a lot of news for kind of like testing those boundaries a lot. And overall, it's just like it was like beautifully made, really good soundtrack, and it was just a really heartwarming story. and it's been over for a week. They used to air the episodes on Wednesday, and this past Wednesday was my first Wednesday without it, and let me tell you, it was rough. But it's only 12 episodes. It's really, really good. It kind of made me realize how even, like, because I try to be like an ally, like I'm an ally, and I try to not be heteronormative. But it made me realize even like how sometimes I might look at things. Like there were times when I was like, wow, I can't believe like nobody would say something about that. But then I was like, no, but in their world, like that's normal. Like I don't want to say that's normal, but that's not something to like be like, oh, about. So I don't know. It was a really good. It's a good anime. It's a sports anime. It was just beautiful, and it made me turn into a total anime weeb more so than I used to be. And yeah, I'm like pretty much just anime garbage now at this point because of it. Thank you.
Alright, so seeing as this is the year of celebrity deaths, apparently, we're going to round the show out a little bit differently for the year-end special by each of us sharing our in-memory 2016 to round out the year and move forward into 2017. Janet, who or what will you miss this year?
My memorandum goes to my beloved hamster, Big Bertha. She died in my hands. That's a lie, but she died after I held her for a little bit. So luckily she was the only pet I had that died this year, unless, knock on wood, the new hamster I bought 2 days ago craps out on me before the 31st. But Big Bertha, this one's for you.
Sean, what will you remember?
Maybe Ohio.
Ooh.
Deep.
Sean's left home forever.
You're not missing much.
Consistent weather abound.
And also corn. Zach, what will you miss?
I'm not going to say I'm going to necessarily miss it, but one thing that will have passed this year, and this is going to sound really stupid, but my old self, because my New Year's resolution is to just admit that I'm an asshole and go with it and stop trying to hinder myself to be overly nice, because
you will feel so much better after you admit that to yourself.
Yeah,
just speaking from personal experience, just, let it all out.
Just let the hate flow through you.
Yeah, yes. No, that's how I live my life.
This is a complicated web of problems. I feel like you could really resolve this by just saying what you feel.
I feel like this isn't that sort of podcast, and we need to move on. So,
help.
I am going to miss Vine. Vine, we hardly knew ye, and we will miss you for all of your videos of people freaking the fuck out about dumb shit, or stoners having high thoughts, or people flipping water bottles. Whatever will we do without videos of people flipping water bottles?
When is that getting shut down? Is it already?
If it hasn't already, it's going to very soon.
Oh, we got straight ripperoni to pepperoni already. We're done. We're done as kids.
Tyler, you're the last one of the year. Fitting, since you always go first. What will you miss that we lost in 2016?
Our viewer count after this episode airs.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. Actually,
it was nice knowing the three of you.
That's right.
Thank you, everybody. Seth, Nathan, and David. Good night.
Right.
Also, Ivan. We had 4.
No, but maybe I'm ripperoni the pepperoni to maybe our old format. I think we've improved. Our show has overall gotten better. I think I'm saying goodbye to the old show, and hopefully this new format will bring us much success in the future.
Wait, so you're saying goodbye to our amateurish podcasting ways?
That's right.
Wow.
Of over researching and underperforming instead.
Well, I don't want to completely mourn researching, because I feel like we still need to do that, but
definitely do.
The show is definitely changing, and I'm happy with the changes. Well, thank you everybody for listening. It's been a great year here at Dudes Brunch, and I think I speak for the entire panel when I say We really appreciate you listening, and we will see you again for more brunch in 2017.
Don't fucking put words in my mouth. I watched this one about like high schoolers. Like it was like, I'm in high school and I have a crush, and I was like, I remember that. Like getting all emotional. Yeah. So no, I don't know. I've just been a huge sap recently.
I think Taylor doesn't understand the nuances of ice dancing. I think he just sees skating as something. He doesn't. He's just.
I don't want to get into this right now. This is not what this podcast
he's just
is
a layman.
about.
The emotion.
Oh, I went ice skating when I was 3. Now he's like, I know everything about ice skating.
Oh, I'm glad we filled our per episode quota of hating on Taylor.
Yeah.
Zach, do you have anything to say that just jabs the knife in a little bit deeper?
Fuck you, Taylor.
Thank you.
No. No.
I think Taylor
okay.
does a great job, and I think we could be 5% less mean to him